What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here after a tough Cavaliers playoff loss. I had to take like an hour just to decompress after that game. Very frustrating game as the Knicks just absolutely decimated us with the bench and offensive rebounding. The two things, as a Cavs fan, I was most concerned about with this series. That being said, it was close. Yeah, Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble in the first half. Mitchell balled out. The rest of the team, not so much. Hopefully, it was just first time in the playoff jitters for a lot of those guys. Unfortunately, I got to wait till freaking Tuesday for game 2. So we'll see what happens then. The other playoff games pretty much went par for the course. The Celtics beat the crap out of the Hawks, and the Nets got the crap kicked out of them, but were a little bit pesky against the 76ers. It is halftime of the Kings-Warriors game as I record this. The Warriors are up 6 on the Kings, so I do not know how that one finishes up, but it was a very entertaining first half. And then a lot of good games later today, most notably Lakers and Grizzlies should be a fun one. So, yeah, NBA playoffs roll on. We will see what happens there. Nothing too crazy in regards to like card prices or anything like that. I didn't see like Jalen Brunson get a big bump up. He would probably be the biggest one from the day one of the playoff games. Mitchell played great, but they lost. So that's not going to help anything there. So that's kind of your playoff snapshot minute. Let's talk about car show stuff. I was at a local show today, new show. It was Greeny Sports put it on up in Independence, Ohio. It was advertised as a pretty big show. Wasn't quite as big as what was advertised, I don't think. A lot of holes in the venue. Good show, good mix of old dealers and new dealers and out-of-state dealers, so that was nice to see some new inventory in. I did not make any deals myself. I sold one card in a semi-prearranged deal. One of my McFarlane autos that somebody wanted. I sold one of those off from CGC. Pricing was okay to high, not fantastic. The other thing that I noticed, and it was hard to tell because the venue was really nice. It was in Independence High School at the field house, and the venue was huge. Big gym. A lot of open space because they kind of, like I said, they kind of didn't sell enough tables in my opinion. So it was hard to tell how busy it was. It seemed busy, but not packed. I know hanging out at some of the dealer tables, talking to people, like not that many people walked up in like a 10 or 15 minute period of me standing there, BSing with the dealer. It was very nice out today. You could not ask for better weather. It was 80 degrees, partly cloudy, absolutely gorgeous Northeast Ohio day. There was also a competing show going on, a very big vintage only show. I know Ryan from Breakout Cards had flown in for that, so that might have sucked a little bit of the luster away. Kind of apples and oranges compared to the two show-wise. I did not head over to that one because it is very, very vintage focused. I'm sure Ryan from Breakout will be doing a vlog on that show. But just didn't quite seem to have the same energy in the room, I guess. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. Attendance-wise, it seemed pretty good, but there did not seem to be a lot of energy in the room, if that makes sense. So as always, I'm kind of curious what you all are seeing from your local shows that you attend to, set up at, whatever the case might be, small, medium, large, extra large, whatever size show that it is. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And I think it's kind of what we talked about during the beginning of the year, how the weather is now getting nice. Time becomes more of an asset, or less of an asset rather, as you are busier. Your free time is not as plentiful as it once was because summertime activities are starting to kick in, springtime activities. And, money's probably getting a little bit tighter. You're starting to run around a little bit more, vacations, this, that, the other thing. Tax return dried up. So I'm just really keeping a close eye on show vibes as we kind of move throughout the spring and into the summer. My next big show, I am going to try to get to the Shipshawana show up in Shipshewana, Indiana on Memorial Day weekend. That is a Sunday show with a Saturday night trade night. It moved up a day, which actually benefits me, makes it more likely that I'll be able to make that show. So it will be a drive up on a Saturday, show on Sunday, come home Sunday night, off on Monday, and then back to work on Tuesday, which would be nice. And then I probably won't be going to any other big shows until the National then. Maybe a Chantilly show. I think there's one right before the National. And then I am planning on attending Heroes Con. I haven't booked anything for that yet, but I am definitely strongly considering going to Heroes Con, the Comic Con down in Charlotte, North Carolina in mid to late June. I don't remember the exact dates on that one. But I had a really good time at that last time. If you're in that area and you're remotely into that kind of stuff, it's worth checking out. So it's a fun vibe. It's a really good show. Fun times. So that's kind of the card show vibe recap from the weekend for me. And then I'll still continue to go to like my local shows and stuff, obviously. But for more travel stuff, that's what we're looking at. Let's go ahead and dive into news and then briefly touch on some charts and graphs. On the news front, lots of PSA news this week of kind of odds and ends of stuff. They got a $125 million loan to go do stuff with. They don't really talk about what they're going to be doing with it. But sounds like they're going to put that money to work to probably either expand, invest in infrastructure, all the normal bullet points that you would want on a press release for this kind of stuff. So nothing crazy to mention there in particular. Just kind of wanted to bring it up that they are still moving and shaking and still grading 1 billion cards a month. Not quite 1 billion, a little bit exaggerated there. Also on the PSA front, now they put this video out this week. This has actually been going on for a couple weeks. I've been seeing a lot of people mention this, that they are now scanning cards upon checking them in. So when they get their order, they scan your cards. I would highly recommend you going to watch this video if you want to check it out. This is on PSA's official YouTube page. They don't take them out of the top loaders or anything. They just scan them so you have a point of reference from when the card was received by PSA. Probably also a little CYA for them, that if you claim a card was damaged, whether it was or not, they could point back and look to see what it looked like when they got the card. So it's CYA really for all parties involved. Them, so people don't make fraudulent claims against damaged cards on them. And then also for yourself, in case PSA legitimately does damage a card, you would be able to go back and point and go, look, that corner wasn't jacked up when I sent it to you. So nice little value add there. No one else is really doing this. So cool, interesting. Probably adds a little bit of time to the check-in process, but when you're watching them scan it, it's like it moves pretty quickly. And then the other thing, I don't know that we need to really dive into it super hard. They did their price decrease this week, their special air quotes. I will tell you, initially when that special rolled out, I didn't really, the 2022, 2023 thing was kind of like whatever to me until I started trying to put an order together. And then I realized how many cards in my stack that I had to go were not from 2022 or 2023. And kind of had to reverse course a little bit. So I'm still putting together. I do plan on submitting 20 cards for that. I don't know when that order will get out because I got to see how many cards I have for it. I also have a couple boxes of Stadium Club Chrome coming early this week that I plan on ripping. So we'll see if we pull anything out of there worth grading. Look for that video to be coming to the channel soon. And I also just ripped, which will probably go up Monday or Tuesday, my Topps super boxes finally came in the mail, and I ripped those from Series 1. And I kind of break those down and kind of talk about the contents and all that stuff. And that video is already recorded. I just have to edit it. And then that'll probably be Monday or Tuesday's video, most likely, along with a Stadium Club box break at some point in time this week. I don't have those in hand yet, but I plan on ripping them. That being said, I do have a question for you all. As part of, because I let my PSA membership lapse, and then I signed back up for it for this. As part of that, I get a $100 loop credit. So I don't know if you all know this or not. If you sign up for PSA membership, you get a $100 loop credit. I've never really bought and sold anything on loop. That being said, does anyone know of any good sellers that sell sealed boxes? I don't want to buy into a break. At least I'd prefer not to. I would rather just buy the box. Even if I got to kick money in, that's fine. As long as the credit covers a decent portion of it, and just have the box shipped to me, and then I'll rip it myself. So if anyone knows any good sellers on Loop that have reasonable-ish pricing, please feel free to leave that in the comments down below. Don't link to anything or anything like that. YouTube gets weird with links sometimes, and it'll block the comment automatically without me ever seeing it. So just put the name of the seller down there if you got someone that you recommend. I'd probably be looking for baseball or basketball wax, most likely, and most likely baseball. just given the current state of basketball wax. So, next up on the old story, this has been talked about to death, but this was really, really funny. Derek Carr got this Justin Herbert NFL Shield card from Panini to sign. He troll jobbed it and put the score from the elimination game this past season. And Panini, I'll give him credit. Listen, I like to beat them around like a piñata at a little kid's birthday party. And they did right on this one by ending up including it in a pack. Derek Carr did post about this on, I think it was IG. He commented on it or something and said that Panini was savages for including this into, or inserting this into the pack. It was a mistake when they sent it to him on accident, and then he just had a little bit of fun with it. What a cool, unique card. Like, hats off to Panini for throwing this in there and not excluding it. You know, whoever got that card back, they realized they were sitting on a gold mine. And then congratulations to whoever opened it. I guess if you had the Chargers in the break, kind of a weird one. It would obviously it would go to, I would think it would go to the Chargers for the break, but a funny one getting the Chargers card signed by Derek Carr. That card probably pretty valuable in all honesty. If you're a Derek Carr super collector, maybe Vegas Dave will make you a Godfather offer for that one. But just a fun, cool little story. I thought I'd throw that in there. Also, the National announced it is going to be, at least in terms of square footage, the largest ever. They're adding 200,000 square feet onto the existing 400,000 square feet of the Chicago National, totaling 600,000 square feet now. Whoo boy, get your walking shoes, get a little motorized cart. Maybe we can get them little, I said in a group chat with some people, maybe we could get those little carts like they have in Nashville that people drive around in for like their bachelorette parties and stuff. Maybe we can get those that just take us around to the different tables at the National this year. That's going to be a big boy. Whoo boy. Now, I'm wondering, I have not confirmed this because I've never been to a Chicago Sports Spectacular. That's like the quarterly show that they run that is also in that same convention center. It's in the upstairs part of that. I am assuming the space that they acquired is that upstairs section. My hope here is, what I would like to see out of this, that they move the autographs up there, and maybe even the breaker stuff, move it up there, and then have the whole main floor just for dealers, vendors, and cards. The autograph area is a cluster F. It is a mess. It's always a sea of people. It's impossible to walk through there. I feel bad for the dealers that have to set up over on that end. You have a ton of traffic, but you can't even get up to tables in some cases. It's so messy. I think it would be nice if they moved that upstairs. I hope that's what goes upstairs and it's not just dealer overflow area. I hope all the dealers are in one massive room and they move that ancillary stuff up there. Even if the breakers stay downstairs, that's perfectly fine. But I would love to see the autograph stuff go upstairs. If someone not really interested in that, just get it upstairs and ease up on a lot of that traffic that is down in the main room, at least in my opinion. What the hell do I know about putting a show on like the National? They probably also need it. There's probably going to be a big corporate presence at this thing to boost. The corporate booths at last year's National in Atlantic City took up a ton of space. And this is also a reminder for you, if you are planning on attending the National, definitely get your hotel rooms booked. Last I checked, and this was months ago, stuff was drying up on that part. I still actually need to buy my ticket. I've had my hotel room for like a year, but I still haven't actually booked or bought my ticket to the show yet. So I need to get that locked in and down. Should be a good time. In my opinion, Chicago is the best host for the National. The way that things are set up there, one, it's not actually in Chicago. It's right next to the airport. Tons of really nice hotels right there, right across the street. You're in walking distance of everything. If you're driving in, you can park your car once and forget it for the entire week if you're staying on site. If you're flying in, it's a very short Uber drive from the hotel or from the airport to the hotels. And just everything is right there. If someone says, hey, trade night's happening down here, a pop-up one, you could probably walk there within 10 or 15 minutes tops and feel fairly safe about doing it in Rosemont, Illinois, where the show is actually located. I will be there Wednesday through Sunday. Usually Sunday is just a come home day, but I will be there Wednesday for the first time. I've never attended the National on a Wednesday before. So I'll be driving in Wednesday afternoon and then there Wednesday night all the way through the weekend. Long week, man. Whew, National wears you out, but should be a good time. If it's your first time going, have a blast. Bring lots of water, comfortable shoes, snacks, the whole 9 yards. Travel light. That's my biggest recommendation. That's what I learned after the first couple. You don't need as much nonsense in the show as you think you do. Travel light, because those backpacks and Zion cases and all that other stuff get heavy the longer that day goes on. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump over to some charts and graphs. I'm mostly going to talk Prism today. Prism Basketball came out. Hobby boxes holding right at $600. I heard someone say that on DealerNet they were down to like 520, 530 on a comment on a video the other day. But they are holding steady at around $600. Now, will they creep lower? I think so. I think they will come down a little bit. I don't expect them to like crash. They're not going to go to $300 a box or anything crazy like that. That's just the way that it works. I could see them getting maybe down to 500, 550. I think that's probably where the floor price for that is. I would not buy one at $500. I just wouldn't, especially to rip. Maybe to hold if you really feel like it, but even that feels risky at best. But as of right now, they're sitting there. We don't have a ton in the way of single prices yet. I pulled up raw base in Market Movers, link in the description down below if you want to try Market Movers out. First month $4. Go ahead and give it a whirl if you are on the fence. If you don't like it, just cancel it. If you don't, or if you do, cool. If you don't, cool. But as we can see here in price movements, like I said, we have raw Prism from 2022, just base. We'll look at silvers probably next week. Just not enough sales on silvers yet with the product just coming out and retail hasn't even hit yet. But once again, I don't necessarily care too much about what the card is selling for. Because these prices will all come down, especially once retail hits. I am just more interested in the order of who's selling for the most and then working kind of through that. So no surprise, Paolo up top. Not surprised at all by that. He should be. Keegan Murray in the 2-hole, Shaden Sharp in the 3-hole, Chet Holmgren in the 4, and Jaden Ivey in the 5, and then Benedict Mathurin in the 6. I am guessing, unless he's just not on here. Maybe they didn't put him in yet. Let me check. Please hold. Okay, he is in the product. He's just not in Market Movers yet. Walker Kessler. I was like, wait, I am missing somebody here. Walker Kessler going for about $8 or $9. So he would slide in underneath Chet Holmgren and above Jaden Ivey on this, which is actually, in all honesty, quite surprising. Walker Kessler, in my opinion, is the third best rookie in this class, and arguably right up there with Jalen Williams as the second best rookie in this class. And speaking of which, Jalen Williams is not on this list either. He's going for about $5 or $6. I am surprised he is not higher on the list. Once again, not so much concerned about the $5 pricing, just more so that he is not higher up on this list. Keegan's really good, don't get me wrong, but he's not as good as Jalen or Walker Kessler. Shaden Sharp's very much of a project player. He kind of reminds me of this class's Jonathan Kuminga. He's buzzy. Everybody likes him. NBA Twitter loves him. NBA Reddit loves him. He's the fun project guy, but he hasn't really done a ton yet. So it's a lot of like hopes, dreams, and wishes on his stuff. And then Chet Holmgren obviously hurt all year. Jaden Ivey played pretty decent for the very bad Pistons team. So we'll have to see how this continues to shake out. We'll look at silver prices once those have a little bit more sales data on it. But surprising to see both Jalen and Walker Kessler rank that low on the list. If that comes out that way with silver pricing, I'll be surprised. We'll have to see. A lot of this just could be a lot of influx in individual base cards here. So more to come on Prism Basketball, but I just wanted to at least touch on it. No surprise that Paolo is in the lead. I am surprised at the ordering after that, though, just having run through those prices. Next up, Prism Football. Just a little check-in. Haven't talked about 2022 Prism Football in a couple of weeks. Hobby boxes holding dead steady at around 600 to 650-ish. Retail. Blasters are fully in the wild now. Basically, no margin on those. They go for $29.99 at retail. They are reselling for $31 to $32 on the secondary market. So if you see a bunch on a Walmart shelf or a Target shelf and you clear it thinking you just retired, you just opened up a new 401k and flipping Prism, not the case anymore. Times have changed. Once again, part of that is a lot of that is due to the weaker rookie class coming out of this. But Prism retail, no markup there at all. Still no sign of mega boxes. I don't know if we're going to get them or not. No sign of, I haven't seen Cellos either, now that I think about it. Prism Fanatics exclusive blasters do have a little bit of margin on them. I think those are going for about 40 or 45 bucks on the secondary market. But regular base Prism blasters, not making any quick tendies anymore off those bad boys. Single prices over the last 7 days. This is looking at silvers. It does look like prices may be starting to stabilize on the secondary market for silvers. As we all know, these things come out high and then readjust and tick down pretty quickly as a bunch of inventory hits the market, and then eventually settle out at whatever their price is going to be. Over the last 7 days, you don't see as many big swings on there as you have in the previous week or two. So maybe we're starting to kind of find the bottom on this stuff. Brock Purdy run away as the number one high selling player out of the product at $100 for a raw silver. Big drop to Kenny Pickett at $60, and then a big drop from him to Desmond Ridder and Sam Howell at 30 and 20. And then we talked about Isaiah Pachenko a couple weeks ago when I ran down this list, and I thought that he was way too high, and his market has corrected. He is down to $20 now, followed by the Zapper, a 67th year Tom Brady silver prism. And then you kind of get into all the wide receivers. Honestly, the wide receivers are probably the best bang for the buck here. Chris Olave, Pickens, Jameson Williams, all at that $10 to $20 range, all seem pretty decent. I'm most intrigued by Jameson Williams. I think I said that last time I recorded this video. I own none of his cards. I don't even have an eBay save search for any of his cards. But that just seems kind of intriguing for the price point and his potential upside. A little injury risk after last season, or coming out of college in the last season. Garrett Wilson also seems pretty cheap as well. I really liked what he showed in his rookie year. So that is Prism football. Let's pop over and talk about baseball just really quickly here. Baseball, just two quick ones. Wander Franco stuff continues to go to the moon. He is having a very strong start to the season. Just over the last 30 days, his stuff is now up 30%. His first Bowman, PSA 10, took another jump up in price this week. He has been on absolute fire, as have the Rays in general. Have just been smoking teams. I see they have slowed down the last couple days, but regardless, Wander is having a very strong start to the season, climbing his way back up the charts. And Mr. Jared Kelenic also having an absolute hellacious start to the season after having a very, very good spring. I want this BGS 9.5 here because the PSA 10 hasn't sold in about a week or two, but his BGS 9.5 has shot up. This is his first Bowman Chrome Auto. From 175 to 250, that's a 42% increase over the last 14 days on this one. His stuff has jumped up quite a bit. He had another home run just the other night. He continues to just absolutely rake the ball. As we talked about a ton, and I'll say it over and over again, it's the guys that don't have a lot of expectations put on them, that don't get a ton of hype in the preseason, that when they come out on fire, their stuff spikes and spikes quickly. That's still where the biggest price movers are. The established guys that had all the hype on them are the ones that you see all in red trending down. So, that's all I got for you boys and girls today. Enjoy the NBA playoffs later today. As always, curious for your thoughts and predictions down below. Curious for your thoughts on your local show vibes. Catch your boys and girls on the next one. Peace.